Have you ever faced a challenge that just felt so big it made you second guess everything about who you are and what you can do? Well, today, we're diving into a moment in the Bible that speaks directly to that feeling. We're going to unpack why the phrase, the great I am is with me, is so much more than just words. It's actually a blueprint for an unshakable confidence, all rooted in one of the most powerful names ever revealed. Okay, this verse right here, this is the heart of everything we're talking about today. This is it, the moment at the burning bush where God reveals his name. And listen, it's not just a title, it's a declaration of his very being, a statement of ultimate reality. This single line from Exodus becomes the bedrock for, well, everything that's about to happen in Moses' life, and, as we're going to see, in our story.
But to really get the weight of this name, you have to understand the situation. I mean, think about it. Moses is not some hero at this point. He's a fugitive, a shepherd hiding out in the middle of nowhere. And then God gives him this mission that sounds frankly insane. Go up to the most powerful ruler in the world, Pharaoh, and demand that he let an entire nation of slaves go free. The stakes just could not be higher.
So when Moses asks for God's name, you can see why, right? This isn't just him being curious. Imagine being in his sandals. He's terrified. He's full of doubt. He's thinking, who am I to do this? But even more than that, he's thinking, who in the world is sending me? He desperately needed something solid to stand on, some kind of authority that would give him and the people he was sent to the assurance to even take the first step. And this is his exact question. You can almost hear the plea in his voice, can't you? He's already playing it out in his head, thinking about how skeptical the Israelites are going to be. He just knows they'll ask, oh yeah? Who sent you? What God has the power to pull this off? Moses needed an answer that was bigger than Pharaoh, more convincing than generations of slavery, and a whole lot more certain than his own fear. So how does God respond to this desperate question? Well, his answer isn't just a name you can write down. No, it's a revelation of his entire nature. And honestly, it changes absolutely everything.
And you have to catch the order of this because it's so important. God doesn't start with a list of all the amazing things he's about to do. He doesn't say, I'm the one who's going to part the sea. Nope. Before he promises any action, he establishes his identity. He reveals who he is. Why? Because everything he does flows directly from that unshakable reality.
And this brings us to the first huge lesson we can pull from God's name. The name I Am shows us that God is a constant, unchanging anchor in a world that feels like it's spinning out of control. Let's dig into what that actually means. So the original Hebrew phrase here is Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh. It's often translated as I am who I am, and it points straight to this idea of God's self-existence. It basically means he just is. He wasn't created. He doesn't need anything or anyone to keep him going. He exists completely outside of our timelines and our problems. He's the one fixed point in the entire universe. Okay, so why is that such a big deal for you and me? Because our lives are nothing but change, right? Our jobs, our health, our relationships, it can all get turned upside down in a heartbeat. But the God who is I Am, he never, ever changes. He is the one steady, completely trustworthy anchor we can hold on to when everything else feels like it's sinking. Knowing this completely changes how we live. It means our trust doesn't have to depend on our circumstances, because those are always shifting. It means we can anchor our faith on the solid rock of who God is, not the shifting sand of how we feel day to day. And it means we can grab onto his promises and know for sure that they never expire, because the one who made them is timeless. But God's name shows us he's more than just a stationary anchor. He's also an active guide who is always out ahead of us. And this is the second incredible truth tucked away in his answer to Moses. I mean, after revealing his name, God doesn't just say, all right, good luck. No way. He actually lays out the whole game plan for Moses, step by step. This shows us that God isn't just reacting to things as they happen. He's already seen the end from the beginning. He knows every single obstacle Moses is about to face. And just look at this 4-step plan. It's so detailed. First, God tells Moses, don't worry, the elders will listen. Second, he prepares him for Pharaoh's rejection. Get this, the resistance is part of the plan. Third, he promises that his own power is what's going to make the difference. And finally, the outcome is a guarantee. You'll be free, and you won't leave with nothing. God had it all mapped out.
And that detailed plan wasn't just for Moses. The same principle is true for us. When God calls you to do something, whether it's big or small, He never sends you in alone. He goes ahead of you. He already knows the challenges, He's already preparing the way, and He's going to provide exactly what you need right when you need it.
So what does this look like in real life? Well, it means we can step out in courage, trusting that He's right there with us. It means we don't have to be afraid of hitting a wall, because that resistance is often the perfect stage for God to show up in a powerful way. And ultimately, it's about having this deep down confidence that He's always working, orchestrating things for His purpose, even when we can't see what's happening behind the scenes.
So let's bring these two incredible lessons together. Because understanding God's name is not some theological trivia question. It is the very source of our confidence. Here's the bottom line. When God said, "I am," He was giving Moses and us the key to real confidence. It's not about memorizing a title. It's about building our whole lives on the reality of His character. He is the unchanging, self-existing anchor, and He is the all-powerful, sovereign guide who has already gone before us. And that really brings us to the final takeaway. True lasting confidence, the kind that doesn't disappear when things get hard, it isn't found in our talents or in our circumstances. It's found in one place, and one place only. It grows from knowing who God is. So the question for all of us then is this: are we building our lives on that unshakable foundation?